And three, two, one, action. Good afternoon, everybody, and good evening. B, playing a B note. That's a real live shot. I always brag about that. Most of you heard that. Anyway, that's not why I'm talking. I had information shared with me that I want to share with you if you don't have it yet. On this, someone took the liberty of putting together the GENOS 2 playlist, aka the song setups, on paper. And you'll see it's broken by category, similar to what you see on the GENOS 2. So it has the category and the name of the song, and there's about 30 some odd pages in here, because as you know, there's a lot of titles. Let's say I want to find a song title like Over the Rainbow. I don't know if it's in there, or My Girl. Right now, you have to know what playlist to go to, what genre. Now, is that oldies or is that R&B?
Right. Gotcha.
Okay. So, I mean, now, luckily, at least they're alphabetical by playlist. Okay. So that's not bad. But I found some song titles. I'm like, well, that could be in this one. That could be. There's some in movie themes that I thought were in oldies.
Right.
So what I'm doing right now as we speak is I'm taking all the titles and I'm going to put them all in one, and then I'm going to put it in alphabetical order. And then next to it, we'll have the genre or category.
Right.
So it'll just, and it's going to be a lot of pages. It'll be worth printing, putting in a booklet, saving your iPad or whatever. But that way, if you want to thumb through it, you find a song title, you'll at least know what category to go through first.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's very good.
What do you think of that?
Very
That's
good.
wonderful.
You like me better now?
I do.
So with that said, I'm going to turn it over to Marco Mendez. He's going to open up with a song, and I asked him to do a little recap on a couple of things that I did last week, and then go a little bit further on some of the topics. So take it away, Mr. Marco Mendez.
Wow, that's a beautiful style. You know, I'm just like Robert's working on stuff, so am I. And there's so many new styles here, and what I'm trying to do is compile them all, make my own presets, take the sensitivity of the right hand, take the aftertouch, make it all AI technology. So I'm working with that, and hopefully in about another week I have a surprise for everyone. But that was actually called Electric Organ Ballad, and it's actually in free play. And we're going to touch on 3 items today. Bob suggested we're having a hard time seeing the screen. So what I did is I took a big screen TV and I propped my iPad in front of it, and you'll get to see all kinds of awesome stuff here. So Steve, we can go real quick to the screen of the Genos and look at this, guys. You should really enjoy seeing this now. So every time I hit a preset, this is preset number 1. If you notice, on the left hand, I have vintage accompaniment and home organ ballad on preset 1. And then when I got to 10, look at this. Home theater, TBS, home organ trombone, theater organ mix number 3, vintage accompaniment number 2 on the left with harmony. So this is really, really a nice addition, and it was a suggestion from someone in class. So we're going to talk on 3 items today. Go back to me, Steve, please. So we're going to talk about 3 things that are really important. And Robert started talking about this last week. There's something really nice about this product called Panel Sustain. And just like Robert, you can add a pedal.
Your mic's breaking up, Marco.
Okay. Any better?
Yep.
Okay. I can't grab it by the bottom. So if you step on the pedal with the sustain, then you can play the keys and they'll sustain. But I prefer to use a button here, and you go over the Genos keyboard, Steve, so they can see. There's a button here called sustain on the right-hand side. Genos keyboard right here says sustain, and when I push it, nothing happens except it turns it on or off. You don't see any description of what it's doing. Nothing happens on the screen. It just turns on or off. So this is a button that's very important down the line for many, many uses, and it's called direct access. So let's say that I have a piano on the upper keyboard. I just turn the piano on, and you'll see it in the screen a little bit. If you want to see the screen, we can go to the Genos screen, and you'll notice I'm on right 1. It lit up in orange, and then I just hit the piano. Go to the keyboard screen, Steve, please. And on the keyboard screen, you see on the left side there is the genre of the sound, and I just go to piano, and then this is my favorite one, Concert SFX Concert Grand. SFX is the top of the line Yamaha piano that's made by hand. It costs about $150,000, and that sample is in here. So if I now hit direct access and I hit sustain, look what you see in the screen. Panel sustain. And it goes all the way to 127, which is maximum, and then all the way down to 0. All I'm doing is turning the wheel next to it, or I could grab my finger and slide it right on the panel. You don't see my finger in it, but that's what I'm doing. So now, since I have a piano sound, if I just play it, listen to how it sustains. And it's at 127. If it's at 53, it'll be quite different. So my default would always be maxed out. So it's really nice. What I love about it, go back. Yeah, what I love about it, let's go back to the Genos keyboard so they can see this. It acts independently on different sections. So if I now go to right number 2, and let's say that I wanted to put vibes in there, same thing. I touch the black button above right 2, and if we go to the screen, you'll see the same analogy there. So the keyboard screen, Steve, please. Now we see on right number 2 at the bottom it says percussion. So I push that, and this is my favorite one, vibes straight. So I now hit direct access again and sustain, and notice it's 102. So it's different. So I'm gonna max it out again, and now when I play my vibes, oh, turn the sustain on. And each section, go back to the keyboard, please, Steve. Each section can have a different sustain level. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. No, wrong camera. The keyboard. So we have right 1, right 2, and right 3 here. And each one can independently have a different sustain level. So we'll do it one more time so you see what's happening. Right 1, the black button above is how you determine what sound goes in it. If we go to the keyboard screen, you'll see that right 1 brought the piano here on the left side. If I wanted to change it to guitars, I would push the guitars, and then you see all the guitars. If I hit electric guitar, I see all the guitars. You go to electric piano, I see all my electric piano. Go back to piano again, and my favorite one, SFX Grand. So that can be set at 119. If I now go to right 2, and now instead of having, let's go Vibes Tremolo. Let's hear that. Nice. And then on 3, let's go to Glockenspiel. So on 3, Glockenspiel. And then all you have to do is tell it how much sustain you want on each one. I maxed everything out. So right 1, you see on the top there, it says right, is maxed out. On right 2 is maxed out too. And right 3 is maxed out. So now when I turn on the piano, and I have the piano sound now, and I play a little arpeggio. If I change now to vibes, if I change to the Glockenspiel, it's amazing. Back to me, Steve, please. So that's very unique. I don't know of any product that does that. They all have sustain, but it affects everything. On the opera, whatever you turn on, here we can be specific to which ones we want. And we access that through direct access and then push the sustain. Now, next button, if we go to the keyboard shot overhead, there's another button that Robert talked about last week called Harmony. This is incredible too. This keyboard organ, whatever you want to call it, has more harmonies than any organ in the industry. And it's right here. Same thing happens. When you turn it on, you don't see any, there's no movement. It just lights up and lights on or off. Now, this keyboard is smart enough that when you put a sound, it'll put in there the appropriate one that it should be used for that. However, you can change it. And we do it the same way. Direct access again, push it, and then push the harmony button. Let's go to the screen on the keyboard so they can see. And I'm going to do it the same thing. Direct access, harmony, and there they are. Now the category on the left, if it's on harmony, on the right there's 4 pages, starting with standard duet 1 and 2, standard trio, full chord, rock duet. Page 2, it has 5 more. Page 3, 5 more. Page 4, 5 more. So it's a total of 20 different harmony types. And on the left side, if you change it, arpeggio up and down, then those are harmony for the right hand. And if you notice on the page on the right, we have 6 pages. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 26 different right hand harmonies you could do. And Robert was a little bit concerned, but I'm not. I'm going to teach you something. I've always believed in teaching people something to do. So if we go to the overhead camera shot so they can see my hands, I have a piano sound. And I encourage everyone to learn to do this. Start on C and play every other white key. Let me turn the harmony off. C, E, G. Then play the next 3 right hand. D, F, A. E, G, B. F, A, C. G, B, D. A, B, C. A, C, E. B, D, F. C, E, G. It's a great exercise for those of you who don't know how to play right hand. But when you do that and you add a style, let's add a ballad. So I'm going to go to the keyboard and I'm going to just put a movie ballad, just using a nice little background. And it's playing now in the background, this in the harmony. Now, if I add that harmony to the right hand and I play 3 fingers, C, E, and G together, look what the keyboard is doing. It's going to go up and down like if you were a professional. And all I'm doing is holding a C chord in root position. And it sounds like this. In a verb, if you change your chord on the left to F and then you play F, A, C and then G, B, D, it's awesome. It's great for improvisation in the middle of a song since you don't know how to do. The keyboard will do it. Here we go. For those of you who have organs, back to me speaking, Steve, for those of you who have organ, it's kind of like a golden harp, but you're in charge of what happens. And I know you're saying, doesn't it work with one finger? It does, but only with harmony. If you go to the arpeggiator, which is what Yamaha will do, then it assumes that you could do it by itself. I just play 3 notes, it'll arpeggiate. Every white key, 3 notes at the same time. And that in itself is really hard to do because you got to learn to do. And you'll never learn to do that. And then there's another one on that harmony that's called chord sequence. So it'll do like when I play music, you know. So it'll play certain things when I play a chord. Listen. And it's real technical things that are really hard for people that are hobby to learn to do that. So that's a great thing. And we're going to be spending more time. There is so much to cover. So my recommendation, if we go to the screen of the GENOS, my recommendation was to stay with just the harmony for now. So go to the screen and then go to the very top choice. It says harmony. And then pick from the right side which ones you want. Standard 1, duet, duet 2, standard trio. There's even a country duet, country 2. So when you play that and you add those, they're beautiful. So if I were to play the song Crazy, I would use kind of like that Floyd Kramer. And I already have a registration that I created here, Crazy Ballad. Yeah. And if you listen to the right hand, I'm using that specific harmony called Country Duet number 1. So go back to the keyboard so they can see me play and listen to how beautiful the right hand sounds being played with one finger. So it's incredible. It's absolutely stunning what these people have done. This company, and they just add and keep adding to make it fun for us to be able to enjoy and even sound better than we could ever be. Those are all very difficult things to do. So stick to the harmony choices for now, and we'll be talking more about the arpeggiator, the chord sequencer, and all that stuff. I know it's real high tech, but hey, it's time to get high tech. You have a high tech product. And then lastly for today, if we go to overhead here, Steve, so they can see, it's one of my favorite parts of this keyboard. It's called the Multipad, and they're located right next to the One Touch. Be careful because they look the same number, but they do very different things. So the Multipads is a way to add things to the style of the song. However, it can be played by itself too with one finger chording. So it's kind of like another part of the orchestra. So let's, for example, one of them. Now, I'm going to go to select. Let's go to the screen of the Genos. And when I hit select, I now have choices. Again, on the left side, steel guitar, vintage, blah, blah, blah. So let's go to style, steel guitar. And it says steel guitar pick number 1. So I'm going to pick that one. And it's associated with the tempo of how fast the tempo is being played. So let me speed it up so you can see what's happening here. So I picked up select, steel guitar pick number 1. Let's go to the keyboard overhead so they can see what I'm doing. And now by simply pushing 1, 2, 3, or 4, it'll add a picking guitar, and each one's different. So if I pick now the first one, number 1, I'll get this. Stop. Number 3, I get this. Stop. And number 4, I get this, clapping. So you can put all 4 at the same time by doing 1, 2, 3, 4, and you get this. And they change according to what chord you play. Either the 1 finger, your 2 finger, 3 finger, however way you play. So if I turn them all on and just play chords, now the beauty of that is to add it to a style. So I'm going to pick a different style. If we go to the Geno screen, so they can see, I went to country category, and then I'm going to pick country. Let's do Texas Hold Down. So I'm going to play that style, and it sounds like this. Let's go to the screen so they can see what I'm doing with my fingers. So I play the chord, the background gets going. Now I can add my multipad to add that to the background. Now listen. Crazy. So there's so many multipads in there you can add. Crazy amount of stuff. And if you notice again, when I hit select next to the 1, 2, 3, 4 multipad, if we go to the Geno screen, then you'll see it takes you to that sub menu where you now can pick. Steve, there we go. You can now pick from your left different things. Even sound effects. There's sound effects, drum shots, world percussion. You can go to sound effects, and there's horror show, and then they have different things there. 1, 2. 3, 4, even car effects. 2, 3, 4. It's just crazy. And it's just all built in. So whatever I pick, then I get to pick arpeggios. That's what it'll do. 2, 3, 4. Or ukulele shots. Or piano glissando. 2, 3, 4. Pads and bells. You can spend hours just doing that stuff. So let's recap again. We did the sustain, the 3 different, right 1, right 2, right 3. We did also the harmony. We're going to stay with the harmony subcategory, and then you have the duet, trio, full chord, country, whatever. And then the multipads. Remember, when you pick a style of music, the keyboard will pick the appropriate one if you're using the one-touch setting. So this is kind of like a default. So if you want to get something that's decent, you can just pick a rhythm style. Let's go to the GENOS overhead screen. And then I pick a style of music. And then I simply use 1, 2, 3, 4. And they will populate the multipads for me. So if I now go, I know you're not seeing the screen, but that's okay. Let's go to Latin. I'm going to go to Bossa Nova. Which one do I like? Let's do, geez, so many. Bossa Rio, there we go. And then I simply push one touch setup. And I have 4 there from the factory. So I'm going to just play a little Bossa Nova. And then all I'm going to do is manipulate 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to add multi-pass as I play. Here we go. With a nice intro. Here we go. I don't know if you could tell, but in that case, when I added the multi-pads, I got more drums. See that? It's amazing. It's unbelievable. Stop. So that's really all I want to cover for today. It's been, how long? Almost 40 minutes, and it seems to me like 2 seconds of how fast we got to go through. I'm working on a software, and I didn't tell Robert this, but I'm going to be, it's going to be called the Ultimate GENOS 2 playlist. And it's going to be, a lot of people are calling me and saying, hey, the touch, hey, the this, hey, the one finger, hey, this, hey, the harmony. So I've been working.
Your sound cut out.
Hello, you there?
Yep.
So I've been working on this in January when I introduced the Genos, and I just keep writing down on a piece of paper every time somebody tells me that they would like something. And it's a labor of love. I mean, it takes forever to do this. So the final product will contain 500 presets divided into 50 styles that only exist on Genos 2. And then I'm making 10 registrations. And in those registrations, I'm going to remove the touch from the right hand so it'll be not affected at all. No dynamic keying, no initial touch, no after touch. They'll set up to be all one finger or multi-finger setups. And then they'll have all the registration totally tweaked by me, 100%, even the styles. And when that becomes available, I'll let you know how you can get your hands on that. But I'm not finished, so I'm not going to even spend any time talking about it. So maybe by next week I'll have it, and then I can share some tricks that I've done along the way. So sustain, harmony, multipad, right 1, right 2, right 3, how to get the different sounds in there. And then next week we'll talk about how to save registration, because if you're going to do all this work, you want to make sure that we can save them to these buttons here, 1 through 10. And that is super simple to do. So Robert, you got something else to close it down? I'm good.
I'm just gonna repeat what I said earlier, and I finished it.
Okay.
Let me show you real quick.
All right.
I did this while you were teaching. So that playlist is now in alphabetical order. See if I pick the right one here. Here we go. So it's going to look like this. So this is all the song titles, and then it tells you what category. So if it's a helpful tool, you can download it. And I actually found out, I've been telling people it was over 1,300 song setup titles. I've been lying all along. It's like over 1,400. So
Robert, that is absolutely awesome. People, you have no idea how cool that is. I run to that same thing when I'm trying to find a song. I have to guess where it is, and now you just have to see the name of the song, and it'll tell you which playlist is the nomination with the name, and it will be there. So save you hundreds of hours of time. So thank you, Robert, for doing that. That's awesome.
that'll be available on the, if you need it individually, you can email me. So if you go to patreon.com/Fletcher Music Centers, we have all our posts, but the very first one that's on there right now says, I have to correct the title, a typo there, but you'll see it says playlist titles by category or genre, which is the first list, and then the Genos playlist by song title.
That's awesome.
If you just click on that, it'll download it, and then you'll have it available, okay?
Perfect. Thank you.
Well, that's all I got for you.
Enough said. Thank you so much. Have a great day, and enjoy having some fun with what you learned.